Hello everyone, my name is Karen Wilkie and I'm one of the district school psychologists. This is one of several short informational videos offered by the district to support families as we try to adjust to the recent significant changes in our way of living due to the crisis of the current pandemic. So today we'll be talking about something that I'm pretty sure is familiar to all of us. But first, let me ask you somewhat rhetorically whether any of you have been experiencing some of the following. Has anybody been feeling a little more irritable or moody lately, maybe edgy? Anybody feeling a little lethargic or maybe even restless? Forgetful, having trouble concentrating? Maybe you're eating too much or too little or the wrong things. Maybe you're having trouble sleeping or sleeping too much. Feeling more disorganized than usual? Maybe you're feeling easily angered and quick to react. And maybe you're feeling all of the above. And if you feel like you're having trouble coping and are on the verge of losing it, you are certainly not alone. There are very real things happening to our minds and bodies in response to the extraordinary demands being placed on us all right now. So, stress is what I'm going to be talking about today. The effects of stress on our minds, our bodies, our emotions, and our kids. But what is stress? The National Institutes of Mental Health define stress somewhat simply as the body's response to any demand. But stress is actually a function of the demands placed on us and our ability to meet them. Some stress is environmental, a reaction to things around us, such as traffic or crowds, crying, noise, heat. Other stress is survival related. When you're afraid that something or someone may physically hurt you, your body naturally responds by releasing the fight or flight hormone adrenaline. The thinking and reasoning parts of our brain go offline and our lower brain functions take over. And this is an adaptive physiological response to protect us from environmental danger, such as being eaten by a predator. It provides a burst of energy that will better allow us to fight and survive the current dangerous situation or escape it altogether. Today, however, our stress is less physical and we experience much more psychological distress that we can't run away from. Our internal stress occurs when we worry about things over which we have little control, things like workload, finances, unemployment, chronic pain, caregiving responsibilities, social media pressures, parenting, and the near constant stream of bad news. Demands can also be internally generated by our own shoulds and ought tos compared to what we're actually able to do. We can generate internal stress through our perceptions of incompetence or guilt, remorse, our pessimism, our self-criticism, our rigid thinking, and particularly our unrealistic expectations, which is especially relevant now as we're adjusting to a tectonic shift in our work, family, school, life balance. Today, we really kind of have a relentless sense of danger and our systems are on overload. But stress is not all bad. Under normal circumstances, stress helps us stay alert and respond or react quickly to a situation. When we feel stressed by something going on around us, the fear center of our brain, called the amygdala, activates our central stress response system. Our bodies release hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones rapidly increase glucose levels, heart rate, and blood flow to our extremities that give us extra energy and focus when we need it, like when playing a sport, meeting a deadline, looking for lost car keys, especially if you're in a hurry, getting married, seeing a police car in your rear view, or giving a presentation. And if the stressor is short-term, our hormones return to baseline. In chronic stress, however, the system does not calm down. The brain perceives threat and we remain in a vigilant and reactive state. The hormones that help us in the short term can have a significant and negative impact on our mental state and our bodies in the long term. Think of an engine that you can rev up to respond to situations such as needing to pass someone on the freeway or merging, Constantly keeping your car redlining, however, will burn out the engine. And similarly, constant revving of your system can lead to digestive issues, trouble sleeping, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system, making us more susceptible to illnesses and chronic problems such as heart disease, stroke, and obesity. Constant high levels of cortisol can also affect the learning and memory center of the brain called the hippocampus. And the prefrontal cortex part of the brain responsible for impulse control, reasoning, planning, organization, decision-making, and judgment. Chronic stress can lead to atrophy of these brain areas. The amygdala hijacks the system, making us more sensitive to fear and danger, less able to think clearly, and contribute to conditions such as depression, anger, anxiety, and addiction. So, as you can see, these physiological changes in the brain affect our physical health, our behaviors, our feelings, and our ability to think clearly, and are what contribute to a reduction in our resilience, which is the capacity to respond and recover from stress. And evidence suggests that stress can be contagious. We're wired to pick up subtle cues from each other, and think of how it feels to be around someone who's stressed out, and you may notice that you have a physiological response, feeling edgy or uncomfortable. Well, our children are not immune to this. And in addition to the typical stressors of childhood, such as friendships, academic pressures, overscheduling, family changes, social media pressures, and fear of missing out, children can also pick up on parental stress and may start to worry themselves. So think, do your kids hear you maybe talking about troubles at work, or worrying about a relative's illness, or maybe arguing over finances? And as we all know, world news can cause stress, particularly now. So kids who see disturbing images on TV or hear talk of natural disasters and disease may worry about their own safety and the safety of those they love. And while some of this may be somewhat realistic, but talk to your kids about what they see and hear, and monitor what they watch on TV so that you can help them understand what's going on. So, what does stress look like in children? Well, you might see some behavioral changes like increased defiance or moodiness, bullying, lying, maybe overreactions to small problems. Some children have sleep disturbances such as restlessness, nightmares, or wanting to sleep with their parents. Kids' activity levels may change, becoming more restless or conversely more lethargic and apathetic. You might notice changes in social behavior, with your child becoming more withdrawn or acting immature. And some kids are very easily distracted and have trouble completing schoolwork. Some manifest physical symptoms such as headaches or stomach aches. And you may see some regression to earlier behaviors such as thumb sucking, clinginess, or bedwetting. And just thinking about all the potential stressors in one's life and their impact on ourselves and those we love can seem overwhelming. Well, the good news is that there are things we can do to help ourselves and our children. First of all, identify sources of stress. Sometimes they're obvious, but others may be less so. So think, do you kind of explain away your stress as temporary? Like, oh, I just have a lot of stuff going on right now, even though you can't really think of the last time you took a break? Or maybe you just feel like it's a given in your lifestyle. Things are always crazy around here. Maybe it feels like it's due to external factors over which you have no control. Recognizing stressors is not an admission of weakness, but it is the start to making a plan to manage it. Now, more information about specific activities will be forthcoming in other presentations, but for now, I'll focus on 3 things. I know, you've heard it before, but there are reasons that we're encouraged to eat well and move our bodies. Exercising just a little bit during the day goes a long way towards stress reduction. You don't have to run a marathon. Walk the dog, go for a swim, go up and down the stairs a few times. Just do something to get your body moving, even if it's for a few minutes an hour. Encourage your kids to participate with you and maybe set small, achievable goals. And even graph your progress. Kids love to graph stuff. Practice positivity. Even in the most desperate times, there's always something to be learned and something for which to be grateful. Look for those moments and help your kids do so as well. By focusing on positive things and the okayness in your life, you generate a feeling of safety and security that kids need. And once you start noticing one or two little things, you may start noticing more and more and more things to appreciate. Be present. It's easy to get caught up worrying about things that have already happened, which you can't do anything about, or things that might happen, which you can't do anything about. Instead, try focusing on what is happening this moment. We call this mindfulness, which is just the practice of paying very close attention to something going on right now. The sounds you hear, the smells around you, how your body feels, how your heart feels. And do it without judgment. Just notice. Many of your kids have learned mindfulness at school, so they can help you learn how to do it. And you may both become more calm in the process. And ask for help. Despite appearances to the contrary, nobody has it all together. And there is no shame in asking for support, even if it's just a friendly ear to share your concerns. Remember, a burden shared is a burden halved. Most of all, take your foot off the gas, slow down, and give yourself grace. We'll come out all right. Feeling overwhelmed is understandable and does not mean you're incapable. Know that we all do the best we can at any given moment, given the circumstances and resources we have available, and it can differ from day to day. Some days it's a victory just to get out of bed or open a jar of peanut butter, and that's okay. Acknowledge your efforts and try again tomorrow. Our children are learning how to cope with stress and manage their feelings through our daily examples, and these are important life lessons. It's critical to be flexible and remain as positive as you can, because just as stress can be contagious, so can an optimistic attitude. I hope you've learned a bit more about the effects of stress in our minds, bodies, kids, and perhaps are thinking about some ways that you might consider to manage the stress in your own life. We all have it, some more than others, but there's always hope for change. More information about mindfulness and other strategies to help children is available in this video series, so please explore the website. And if there are other topics you'd like us to consider, please submit them to Dr. Fred Rundle. In the meantime, please reach out with questions or concerns, and take care. And thank you for watching.